links and it has to go out and then back in and out. So I don't know. We'll make it work, but
sounds great.
It was tempting, maybe.
Sounds great. Let me switch over and make sure.
Take the head of the table.
Oh, because when we got right, that was talking about one maybe.
I got a lot of like scratching.
That was me.
Yeah, so nice.
She was out to steal our lunch.
There's no
Make us
window.
feel bad.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a panel room.
Just in her honor, we'll revolve 3 times at the end.
That's been the joke.
Yeah.
You and I can see.
That's the speaker spot.
Just rotating.
Our very first in-text presentation, we had the professional person said that we switched too often, that we kept like switching places too often.
That's fine.
Like we would cycle who was at the computer and stuff like that. Ever since then, we try to do it at least once in a presentation, just to pay homage to.
Well, they used
Love it.
She also said that our color scheme was childish, so we try and keep orange in a lot of our color schemes. Just to be like, we're still gonna do it.
This is proof. It was a tried and true process. It worked.
Oh, you've already got one. I think there's one.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi,
Welcome.
Much bigger
looking
room.
forward to this. I heard some good things about your class last night.
All right, from whom? We need to know who to pay.
Yeah. Pay in extra credit points, please.
I'm just kidding.
That's actually Brooke.
Okay, cool. Brooke's one of the few that already has a spot with Salesforce stuff.
Although she's using
Just
not
doing
Salesforce.
Delbo V.
Yeah.
The integrations.
Moving data into Salesforce, but not actually.
All right, so y'all know the format. Do you want us to hold our questions to the end, or can we ask them in the middle?
Ask them as you please, yeah.
We like a free-flowing environment here.
All right, love it.
Encourage the classroom feel.
Perfect.
So just go ahead. We're good.
Yep, you
Okay.
are good anytime.
So our capstone, we did the Salesforce consulting class. I'm Dallin Smith, Matt Brown, Remington Steele. Yeah, so Salesforce. The problem that we saw that we wanted to address with this capstone was at the beginning of the school year this year. I work in the Business Career Center, and we had a few employers approach us and ask us for students with Salesforce experience. And so Reed came to me saying, hey, can you pull a list of people with Salesforce experience? It turned out we had 3 people, and all of them worked for the same company. And so we were like, hey, this is something that we could develop. And really, customer relationship management systems in general, something that we don't touch a ton of in the IS program. But we do have that skill set. We understand relational databases, we understand pick lists, a lot of the programming that goes into customer relationship management systems. And obviously the opportunities were there. And we wanted to allow information systems students to fill those opportunities. So for the solution, we created a class. The course, we wanted it to consist of basic Salesforce administration. We wanted to tailor it towards teaching towards this Admin 201 certification that Salesforce puts out. And we wanted it to be very consulting centric. We wanted students to be able to have that skill set that you need in the workforce. Things like clarifying ambiguities, working with business processes, things like that. And we also had several guest speakers that we wanted to bring in. And we've had a few of those already. We have one today in our class that is interviewing 2 of our students for positions afterwards. We have had 7 or 8 students come out of this class with interviews for internships or job positions just because they're taking this class. And it is Salesforce experience specifically, but some of it is because of CRM, stuff like that. And so yeah, that was what we wanted to do and what we've tried to do throughout for our solution.
So we want to discuss real quick a brief introduction to Salesforce, just so you understand a little bit more of the background. Salesforce is a company that is headquartered in San Francisco in California, and they make billions of dollars every year. Most of their revenue comes from their CRM product. And they have a suite of different enterprise solutions to solve business problems. The main one of those is for customer relationship management, as well as customer service. They also focus on marketing and analytics and application development. So they have a suite of tools that businesses can use to solve their problems and to help automate their processes and their workflows.
And I think what's important is people ask, well, why doesn't Salesforce just go into these companies and configure for them? And the reality is, we had one of my bosses come and speak last week, and he put out a statistic that it was like within 2 years, Salesforce as a whole will be 200,000 employees short of the workforce it would need, even just in the consulting world, to meet the configuration and then also continued administration needs.
Awesome. So this is us. We want to talk about our background a little bit and how we fit really well for the type of students that would do well teaching one of these courses. So to begin with, Matt has the Salesforce experience. He has 5 certifications, working on his 6th and 7th right now. But he has been working for the last 2 years in a type of capacity where he is directly consulting with companies all around the US and working primarily with Salesforce and their CRM program.
How many certifications can you get, man?
I think you can get up into the 30s, but there are 15 main ones that everyone really looks for.
Then we have Dallin. Dallin works at the Career Center, has all the connections, especially with the companies that are looking for students with Salesforce skills. And he has worked in business intelligence. He's a business intelligence champion, and we're proud of him for that. But this means that he has focused on using the data that businesses collect in order to understand their customers better. And he has also worked as a consultant within that role and is going to, after school this year, going to be working as a consultant as well. And then for me, I have helped develop CRM systems. One in general is Agency Pipeline that I worked on this last summer. And I have a greater focus on the user experience, especially for the students. I have taken 2 other student-taught capstone courses over the last 2 years and have helped to design our course so that we can teach to the students' needs and make sure that they come away with the skills and resources that they really need at the end of the course to be successful. And this is our class. We had 19 students sign up for the class this semester. We split that between 2 courses. One was for the undergraduate and one is for the graduate students.
I love that you took a class photo.
Yeah. So
We
this
should always do
With
that.
the skeleton.
That's right.
Yeah, oh, I had that.
We're missing
You teach
some
in
of
the
our
bar?
favorite students. So we teach in the RV.
We taught in the lab. We were kicked out, and it's kind of a sad tale, but we were kicked out, and so we've been pushed off into, it's over beyond Pluto in the RV, and we teach there in a class that also has a skeleton there. We have most of our students here in this picture.
Our favorite student is missing. David brings his son to it, so we have him. He's our favorite student.
It's awesome. Yeah, we have enjoyed teaching these students here. They've all shown up to classes. They've been very participative and have done a very good job. We're very proud of the growth that they've seen, especially the students that have gone on to have interviews for internships with CRM systems and with Salesforce specifically.
Something we love about our class too is the fact that it spans every aspect of the IS program. Zach here is a sophomore, hasn't gotten in yet to the IS program. We have lots of junior core students. We have MISM 1, we have MISM 2. We touch all of them, and we really have enjoyed having that experience there.
And one other thing is Andy brings his wife. She's right here.
Yeah, she's not even
She
in
comes
there.
to class. She's not an IS student, but she realized that graduating with her degree, she wouldn't be able to get the job that she wanted, and so she has hopped over to join us for this one course so that she can have the hopes of going into something that's more systems related and work in a business capacity.
So coming into this class where it's just a term length, there's a lot of things that we could teach, and it was kind of hard getting down to the real nitty-gritty skills that someone needs to come out with. So these are just a sample of the course topics that we actually went with. So obviously customer relationship management basics. What is a CRM? What is what is not a CRM. People think, oh, hey, if I've got a CRM, it's going to solve my business, when really it needs to facilitate the business and the processes and make it more efficient. Basic, automation, how to make employees' lives easier. Data management, how to get records in and out of Salesforce, manipulate them. Data security, user administration. Some of the more specific skills within Sales Cloud, what a sales team does versus what a service team does, versus Community Cloud, which is pretty much getting external people, customers, access to different data in Salesforce. Following up with just kind of our BI tools that Salesforce offers, which are good and bad in multiple ways, but reports and dashboards. And then we also talked about, we have our admin skills, our Salesforce skills we want them to come out with, but also some other kind of less tangible things we want them to come away with. So we had some kind of fun exercises we'll talk about later that taught consulting skills, like how to define business requirements. You've got a customer that really doesn't know what they want. They kind of throw up all these things on you, and you're like, okay, well, it sounds like you need this, this, and this. Estimating a budget, that was kind of fun. Setting expectations, I feel like that is probably the most important skill, if not one of them, in the consulting world. And then unearthing ambiguity, forcing them to ask questions, know what questions to ask, and how to do so. The next one is a fun one. It kind of makes too much sense, but it really is a skill using Google. I feel like it's been fun where we give assignments to students and say, hey, we're not really going to tell you how to do this. We've kind of shown you, but you're going to have to Google and figure it out. And really, through 2 years of consulting, I've realized really with Google, I can figure out nearly anything, even if I don't know it. And so that's fun, talking about the value of certifications, how to study for them. We've talked about this, that I think with each certification, you add about anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to your value on the open market for different companies, depending where you go. Talking about what they are, how to get them, and then the potential career paths once you do have some Salesforce experience, or what to do if you don't have any Salesforce experience, but have opportunities available.
So this is just, we had to set up a learning suite, so that was fun to play with, because we have...
The other side, you see
Yeah.
what we're doing?
So we had to have 2 classes because it was offered undergraduate and graduate, so we had to manage 2 different learning suites, so that was fun. It's the same content in both, but anyway, this is kind of a look at what some of our schedule would look like. We made sure in developing the class, because we taught it second term, the first term where we spent that developing the slides, what we would have for homework, how we would grade them, setting up syllabus, stuff like that. And so that's what we spent a lot of the first term doing, was setting up the learning suite, making sure it was ready for students. And as you can see, we have our assignments here, we have the topics, things like that. So that's learning suite. This is, the next slide is an example of one of the quizzes that we did. So we have attendance and then questions that we taught during the class period beforehand. And so that's one of the ways that we evaluated our students, was quizzes like this one.
Awesome. We used a collaboration tool called Quip, and Quip allows us to, they have spreadsheets and documents on there, so it's similar to a cloud-based Google Drive or Microsoft 365 or OneDrive, whatever you want to call it, but it's an online cloud-based platform for us to store our data and to collaborate together. And so in these folders, we have one called class documents, another one called classes. So we prepared all our class documents and we're able to work on them together here. And we'll start out with our class overview. This is kind of a list of the topics that we wanted to touch on throughout the semester, and how we wanted to include those and group them. We have here a list of our progress reports that we submitted to Dr. Maservi for our capstone project. So this is one of our collaboration tools that we use to do those together, as well as our class syllabus that we worked on, again, all together. So this allowed us, while some of us would be traveling or out of the, not at campus, that we could work on these things together. It's very helpful. And here we have organized all of our classes. This is where we store all of our class content. So when we pass this off, in case they want to use this for future students to have this content, we have all those content organized to the point where there's more specifics here, more specific assignments or activities for students to do, as well as our slides. and there's a link to our slides in each of there. So we can go through and we have access to all of our slides all in one location. So using Quip was very convenient for us, as well as allowed us to work on everything together and keep it all organized.
Okay, so then really quick, just want to talk a little bit about the exam. Really, we wanted to focus definitely on consulting, but really give students the confidence by the end of the class to at least have the materials, if not the confidence already, to go and take the initial Salesforce certification. And really all that is, it's pretty basic, but we tailored a lot of the course around, so this is the guide that Salesforce gives, just with specifics about the exam, and it talks about like the percentages that each topic takes on the test, and wanted to make sure we hit all those, and then give them just the basics of what the exam is. Like, okay, how many questions is it? 60 questions. What's a passing score? 65%. How much does it cost? So that we can start to break down some of the barriers and get those that are interested closer to being able to take the exam.
Do you have any that are going to take the exam?
We did. We asked the students, and about 10 of them raised their hands, said in the next 3 months they would be
okay, but not by the end of the
but
semester.
no one.
Yeah.
We'll have an option that they can do that instead of the final, but
Yeah,
really
yeah.
the final will just help prepare them. So
yeah.
Our final is going to be from questions from the exam, too. Not like example questions from example exams, but it will help them towards that. So we kind of want them to take the final if they are going to take it anyway, just because it will help.
Be more
just
prepared.
be a meter stick, see where you're at.
Yep.
And so we really fast just want to show how we're actually building skills with students that we can teach and talk to them until our faces are blue, but really we wanted to be sure that they had some hands-on learning. And Salesforce gives us playground environments through their training material website called Trailhead. And so this is just a completely spun up fake environment that we can have them come in. We can give them activities, different things to do. It comes flush with, let's see. Comes just with test records that we can use, manipulate, have fun with, teaching. And we've kind of based the course around Sales Cloud, which is mainly the objects in Salesforce that allow for sales reps to do their job. So that's mainly just like having a lead, which is like a business card where you put in all your information, and then upon a certain point in the relationship, it changes to an account, which is the company, a contact, someone within the company you're talking to, and then an opportunity, which is pretty much just this current chance at a sale. Could happen multiple times.
Looking at that too, you can see why information system students would be so adept at working in Salesforce, is because it's a relational database. You know that, oh, there's a master detail relationship from account to contact, and we already have those skills. It's just translating them into more of a GUI point click than it is the SQL that we already know, stuff like that. So, this is an example of the midterm project that we did with our students. Once again, we wanted them to put themselves in consulting shoes, so we gave them, they were part of Cloud Creations Consulting, they were coming here to help their company, this company, and then we had the prompt on the next slide here, where we built in ambiguities. We built in things that we wanted them to come ask us questions. We wanted them to struggle on certain things, and we acted as the clients. That whole entire 2 class periods is what it ended up taking, but and they had to approach us, they had to do it professionally, and they had to ask us questions. Just encouraging them to develop those skills within their class.
And we designed this after some real experiences that Matt has had, especially with consulting. For example, we want a manager to be notified when a downgrade occurs. So after creating the downgrade object and going through this, the consultant, right, would meet with the client and say, how do you want to be notified? And for some of our students, it was learning what are the different options. How can Salesforce notify someone when the data changes or meets a certain criteria? Is it email? Is it through Salesforce's alerts and notifications? Can we do it through SMS and text message? So it's coming to the client and learning what does the client want, and at the same time learning the capabilities and functions that Salesforce has available to be able to deliver some of this data.
So then our plans for the future. Obviously we have already gotten a little bit of feedback from students that we've asked for in some of the quizzes, but we're going to refine course materials, potential teaching channels going forward. We had somebody else build a similar course. Nick Mortensen was in the program a few years back, built a more technical developer course and sold that to Dev Mountain, which they use currently. Possibly, continuing to teach in a university course capacity, and then possibly use some of this to just create content that we put out on LinkedIn or through other channels. We did have a quiz activity, but we're at 20 minutes. I don't know, do we want to do that?
You still have plenty of time.
Great. All right, well, just some fun. We obviously are in teaching mode, and so we'd love to check and see what we came away with. So we've got 3 fun little questions, some treats in that bag there for anyone that is brave enough to try and answer.
Yeah.
And we'll see. So question 1, and we were running a little short on time, so we didn't go as in depth as maybe planned, but we have people in here who should know the answer to this. Ooh. So someone want to give an answer?
Is that me?
Yeah.
I mean, she already said the one I was thinking of, C.
Ooh, you are correct.
Yeah.
Pop-Tart, Rice Krispies Treats, Snickers.
Ooh, Snickers.
Courtesy of the BYU vending
Oh,
machine.
paper.
Okay, question 2. Salesforce is primarily A,
Ding, 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 ding.
SCM, ERP, BI tool, or CRM? Oh, great.
I do promise that the class was more in depth than this.
we didn't know really what audience we'd have, so it was like, let's not.
What do you got?
Rice
Pop-Tart?
Krispies, Pop-Tart.
Rice Krispies.
Hey, why can attest? We've had some hard questions. Tripped up a number of people. And then finally, what percentage is required to pass the Certified Administrator exam?
B, what is 65%?
Correct.
Oh, it's not good. Thanks.
Pop-Tart.
Yeah!
Nice. So really just in summary, I think we've all benefited a lot from this. I hope that the students have as well. It's been fun to kind of teach in a teaching capacity, really come up with the course material and see what it takes to really have a good solid class that we teach for an hour and 15 minutes, hour and a half, 2 times a week. I think it's been fun for all of us to kind of apply the different things that we've learned and figure out fun activities that students could really come away with, oh hey, I know how to do X, Y, and Z. But no, that's really what's been beneficial to me, you guys.
We can also empathize very well with our professors. So when they say, we sent it out on Learning Suite, I don't know why you didn't get it. We now understand why that happens and how that happens.
Or just that it does happen.
But also the amount of work that goes in to prepare a course that the students will actually enjoy is so much more than we think. And to be able to create a great experience for these students, we put in a lot of hours to be able to assemble this course to make it something that would be valuable and meaningful to them, that at the end of the day they can say, I am getting the results that I want from this class. And so that's one of the things I learned.
Very similar. The fact, so Bonnie might not know, I decided to pursue a PhD, and so this class really did help show the relationship that I want to have with my students. I feel like the relationship that we have with our students is one that I want to continue to emulate because we have a lot of fun in our class. But I do feel like we learn what we need to get across. And so having the balance between lecturing and hands-on activities, having the balance between being their friend and being their teacher, we talk about this a lot, but consistently looking at the grade book and realizing, oh, they haven't turned it in, do I need to reach out to them? It's like, you gotta be a teacher every once in a while instead of a friend too. But it's been a really valuable experience in that way.
Any questions?
I'm just looking at this and thinking, all those consulting skills and looking at things from a consulting mindset, because I've fallen into a consulting role as well, and those are all things that I'm like, man, if I had gotten exposure to that sooner, it would have been great, and it would have, you know, fixed some issues. Is there any plans to take at least some of that, or maybe this course, and bring it into the IS sort of curriculum, or?
So we have talked briefly with Dr. Maservi, and the last time that we checked in with him, the IS program is talking about doing a CRM elective, not specifically Salesforce, but customer relationship management, and so that is something that could definitely be built in to a course like that, is a consulting aspect to it.
I'll add, we are looking for adjunct taught classes like this, and if
And
you're
Matt's
around
gonna
and
be here.
interested, maybe as soon as the fall or winter.
I'll send you an email.
Yeah,
So-
no, this definitely is very valuable, and we just can't cover everything, and we just keep jamming more into the core, and that's
Yeah.
not, I think we've reached the max. But yeah, for electives,
And I'd also be interested to see, I hope that it wasn't too much of a burden on the junior core students, but we've kind of done a balance where I think that they found it valuable enough to give
well, no,
up
they're
the
getting
time.
more credit and stuff, it's not just jammed into
Oh,
one of their
true.
regular classes, that's my worry these days.
So that was my question. How do you keep this going? I'm a big believer in the opportunity of Salesforce. I'm a big believer in there's some, you know, a real leveling up that our students can get for that. We do have some resource constraints. How do we keep this going in a way that is vibrant, that the students enjoy, that, you know, they learn these skills that frankly, you know, are in high demand? What are your best ideas for,
So I think
based
one
on your
idea is,
understanding of the
right,
constraints?
We have so much capability with the internet and what we have going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be valuable to either, if we don't continue teaching it directly here, maybe we move or we're not available or other people aren't available, we could teach it online or teach it through some online medium, whether that's BYU online and teach it through the institution, which I think would be great because we have students here and we understand better their background and can teach better to their needs because we understand their background. Or teach it through Dev Mountain or Udemy, which also have some online teaching options.
So there's a gazillion and one Salesforce training courses that are online already. So I think you're entering a pretty saturated market. I still think there's opportunities there for sure. But I do think there's something unique about, you know, students at a certain stage and showing them the vision and teaching them some of these principles. And then, I mean, this Salesforce is something that before the core, right after the core, you know, really great opportunities that you can get in if you understand some basics and really have an impact.
And like Remington gives options, but our favorite and the option that we would prefer obviously is like either Matt teaching adjunct, or we have tried to develop our outlines to where it's a pass off where we can pass it to someone and they have an outline that's ready for them. And every class that we've done is built out in a way that someone can step in and teach it if they knew a little bit about Salesforce already.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think the BYU Online thing is kind of intriguing. You know, has broader exposure and students across the university would likely be interested.
So in mentioning that Pluralsight, okay, since all students now can get the free account into Pluralsight and those sort of things
OIS students for this year.
this year, okay, but I'm just saying, the, I guess Quip versus Pluralsight, or as we're talking about trying to keep everything, you know, on its keel or the way Salesforce wants it developed or how they want to do those things, is there a Quip review or some sort of Pluralsight? Have you done a review to determine what you're presenting versus the materials that
others? Everything that I've looked at, I've done quite a few personally when I was trying to learn. And I think maybe what our course does a little bit different is that consulting background that I think I could say if we were to do a Udemy course, what we could offer that I have not seen yet is kind of like what we showed is we had a prompt and say, hey, here are your prompts. Maybe, you know, we could have a few recorded videos that they could, you know, see for more information, but then they build a solution and then we could show ours and they could match up. I think most of the Salesforce courses I've seen on across multiple platforms are just like, hey, here's this topic and, you know, rote tasks, go do this, this, and this. They show you there's no understanding or no real, oh hey, I'm looking at this scenario and I need to use record types with page layouts versus securities.
I think you're hitting on something so important. Sorry to cut you off, Reed, here. That it's that experience in the university setting that's going to differentiate. Going online is great, and there's really big opportunities there. But kind of moving forward, university education will turn from a lecture-based thing to an experiential-based, and a validation in a tighter community, addressing real tough problems rather than just, oh, here's how you click the buttons, or here's the formula that you use, or whatever.
So you mentioned that you were showing them, here's all the opportunities they could go after, all the different things, that sort of thing. Did you happen to bring that slide?
So up to this point, we talked about opportunities and we brought multiple people in. I think at this point it'll be at the very end of the course where we're like, okay, now what? And show it, but we don't have a slide prepared.
Okay. So Don and I will talk later about a couple of slides.
Wyatt.
Yeah.
Did you feel 1.5 guys was enough? What if it was a full semester class? Is that too much? Is that?
You can address this too. I feel like sometimes we're trying to fit a lot of information into one class period, and we think students are going to complete it, and then we end up only completing most of it and not all of it. And so if we did have more class periods that we could spread it out, we could get better at it. But I do think that the half term, or the term class that we did teach seemed like a good amount of classes, especially because we teach it 2 times a week. It was enough classes that we felt like we were covering the material that was both on the admin certification and the getting guest speakers in and stuff. We felt like it was enough.
Can I follow up on that?
Yeah.
So if it was like a full term class, what I think is, if we could make this, put it on pathways or something, could somebody with not a technical background, maybe for the first half of the semester, learn ERDs and relationships, and the second half learn CRM, and then in like 3 months, somebody already can go out and get a job. Somebody that maybe have not had access to quality education could go do something like this.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Real
awesome.
opportunities. Real opportunities.
So I feel like what you hear everyone say is the fact that IS students know relational databases and object-oriented programming just makes it so all of these topics and things that you may not completely understand when you get in Salesforce are native to us. I think that's way cool if we could teach those things first and then say, okay, how does that apply?
So you almost teach 2 courses, one as a preparation or preparatory to the other. And you can take the one that teaches ERDs and teaches about object-oriented programming and prepares them to be in the right paradigm and mindset to be able to take our course and understand what's going on and why things are set up the way they are. Great questions, thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, we are actually off now until 3:30 is the next presentation.